What is going on, beautiful people? My name is BetSam, and this is going to be the UFC full card prediction, breakdown, and more for UFC Abu Dhabi, Robert Whittaker versus Renier. Let's not cut the mustard here. Get straight into it. We're going to start at the bottom of the card, work our way to the top, and for you beautiful people that love timestamps, I'm going to add them in for this one. I know the people have been begging. So there's going to be timestamps for this one. First fight that kicks off UFC Abu Dhabi this weekend. I say this weekend, it's tomorrow. We're 24 freaking hours out. It's 4 a.m. here in New Zealand. Let's get into it. It's Martin Budai taking on Marcus Whittaker. And this is a matchup here which, in my eyes, initially went a little bit under the radar because, Martin Budai versus some unranked heavyweight. I was like, yeah, whatever. I started watching this guy, Marcus Whittaker. Everybody told me that this was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu nerd. Tell you what, he's a tough son of a bitch. Marcus Whittaker, in his only loss here that you can see. If you go watch this fight against Usman, this was a dogfight. It was an absolute war. It was ref by Herb Dean, and Herb Dean had to step in multiple times on either side because there was fouls back and forth. Both guys were beaten. Both were exhausted, and even though it was a decision loss there, make no mistake that these guys went to war. This man is 35 years old, coming into the UFC here in the tail end of his career as far as being a mixed martial artist, because he's been competing in jiu-jitsu for a long time. His accolades speak for themselves. And here he is testing his mettle against the UFC's brass and Martin Budai. And he's taken on one of the heaviest boys in this division. Martin Budai, I believe, cuts weight to hit 266 pounds. He's always looking pretty heavy in there. He's a bit of a fridge. He is, had pretty good success here in the UFC. You see, win over Jake Collier. Jake Collier no longer in the UFC. Win over Josh Parisian, also no longer in the UFC. And then obviously got chopped down by my boy Shamil the Meal Deal Gaziev. But, it happens when you come up against the GOAT. Then he came back with a split decision win over Andrei Arlovski. And this is one of the performances that I think have people really low on Martin Budai because in this fight, you could have even made an argument that Arlovski won that. And then he went on to beat Uran Satibuldev in his most recent bout. And even in this fight, though, there were moments where he got rocked. He got chewed up by Uran Satibuldev, who was 50 pounds lighter than him. And, he was just able to big guy his way forward. In this matchup here, Marcus Whittaker is a 3-1 favorite, and I do think that is justified given his jiu-jitsu accolades, his athleticism, and his willingness to engage. I think that even in a striking match, I think people are just assuming that Martin Budai is going to be able to get the better of Marcus Whittaker here, but this dude is tough. He has power himself, being a 250-pound man that's been a lifelong athlete. Make no mistake, Marcus Whittaker can crack. It might not be as technical, but he's got some good punches, and he can absolutely swing. So Marcus Whittaker here should have the advantage on the ground. He should be able to find a submission, and even if he doesn't, I do trust in his athleticism and his willingness to win to be able to get it done over Martin Budai here, and I do have a bet on him in the premium section. So if you want to check that out, the link in the description here. We want /BetSam. Sign up. BetSam is the code for 10% off as well. Let's bust into the next fight. We have Muhammad Yaya, the United Arab Emirates' own warrior, taking on Steven Yuen. And this is a matchup that I wanted to talk about a little bit in length because the reason why I waited to put this full card prediction out is I wanted to see the weigh-ins for a lot of these fights to sort of indicate where my picks were going to go. We'll talk about some others here as well, but this pick was always Steven Yuen for me. However, seeing Muhammad Yaya on the scale there, he looked absolutely drained. I mean, this man looked terrible. This is one of the worst pictures I've seen of somebody in weigh-ins in a long time. And if you guys don't believe me, go just look it up. You can find that on YouTube. Go find images of it. Muhammad Yaya looked terrible. Steven Yuen is going to be the better boxer here. I've never been particularly high on Muhammad Yaya. You can see here, he's been in the UFC. And he just hasn't got it done here. Trevor Peake, gets it done. Cal Fernandez, he's only fighting about once every 12 months and not getting it done. I imagine that he's just on this because he is a local guy and it'll get the people in the seats to be able to see their local guy go out there and fight, win or lose. So Steven Yuen here is going to be the pick, and I actually think he wins by knockout. Then we have Turkish Power, Ibo Aslan taking on Billy Alakana. And this is a matchup where I think recency bias is playing a heavy factor in people's opinions on this one. I've seen a lot of people looking at Billy Alakana like he's a tasty underdog here, and I'm here to tell you he's not. Billy Alakana had some mixed success, you might say, in his UFC short notice debut. And people are assuming that this guy's some high-level grappler that's just going to be able to replicate what Iwan Cutelaba was able to do here against Ivo Aslan in finding a submission. Now, Iwan Cutelaba is a beast. I mean, the Moldovan Hulk is not to be fucked with. And although some people are talking about Ivo Aslan and the fact that he was unable to defend, that submission, he looked like a fish out of water on his back, I will argue for you that people are underestimating how good of a mixed martial artist Iwan Cutelaba is comparatively to Billy Alakana. I think that Ivo Aslan is going to be able to come forward. He's going to be able to throw those meaty hook hammers, and I think he's going to be able to knock out Billy Alakana. I'm pretty confident in it, and I do have a bet on him. So the pick is Ivo Aslan to win by knockout. Then we have Amanda Ribas taking on Baby Shark Tabitha Richi. And, this is a matchup where the odds surprise me. You can see here that, Amanda Ribas has been losing to the higher level of competition. She has lost to Mackenzie Dern most recently, Rose Namajunas, got a win over Luana Pinedo, and lost to Macy Barber. But you can see here, in these losses here, she's been finished up in 2 of the 3 of these losses, which is never a good look, even though it's against high-level competition. On the other side here, you see Tabitha Richi coming off that loss to Yan Xiaonan, which we predicted, so we were happy with. Angela Hill win, Tisha Pennington win, and then Lupita Godinez split decision loss there as well. I actually think that there's a lot of value here on Tabitha Richi. I'm not going to go out of my way and say that she is, for certain going to win, because she is quite small for this division. But I think she does a lot of things that the judges like, and I could see this playing out closely and then it being given to Tabitha Richi. So I'm going to go with Tabitha Richi here. It's a low confidence pick here, but I think you could play the plus 3.5. You could play the fight to go the distance, because I do think this goes to a decision. Neither of these women are prolific finishers. Somebody will try and talk you into the fact that Amanda Ribas does have a lot of finishes, but I don't think it's against the likes of Tabitha Richi, who is fit, come forward, and is always looking to make things happen. So I'm going to take Tabitha Richi here, low confidence pick, but as an underdog pick, and the first underdog pick to get us going. Then we have Damon Blackshere taking on dangerous Davy Grant. I'm all over Damon Blackshere in this matchup. I think that he can club and sub here. I think he can control this fight with takedowns. I think that he can control this in the clinch. I think that he can win this fight standing at striking range. A lot of people are talking about how I'm underrating Davy Grant, and if you think so, go ahead and place a goddamn bet on him, because I think that Damon Blackshere here is going to smoke. I did get him at a lot better odds than a minus 350, which he was earlier in the week, a lot better odds than this. So, you could argue that the value is kind of leaving the station here, but I still think he steamrolls. He's leg 1 for Slam of the Week, so Damon Blackshere to win this fight by any means necessary. That is the pick, and it is high confidence. And it's a beautiful thing because we bust straight into the second Slam of the Week. Second leg Slam of the Week. Excuse my broken English. It is early in the day here, and the coffee is only just now kicking in. But Carlos Leal to defeat Muslim Salikov is leg 2. Numero dos for the Slam of the Week parlay, and I'm very confident in this. I think that the price is reflective of my confidence. He's a 5-to-1 favorite here against Muslim Salikov, and not to discredit what Muslim Salikov has achieved and continues to do within his martial arts career. It's that the fighting style of Carlos Leal, unless Muslim Salikov sleeps him straight away, I think he's going to break him. This guy is an absolute tank. He's a unit. He comes forward with reckless abandon, no concern for his own safety, and he's just looking to put a hurt on you. Now, the reason that Muslim Salikov was able to succeed so well against Song Kanon in his last matchup is that Song Kanon was giving him space. He was giving him those looks and those reads to be able to, get in there and land that spinning wheel kick and land strikes, pop, 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 move out of the way and use his footwork. I don't think Carlos Leal is going to respect a single thing Muslim Salikov does unless he absolutely rocks him or puts him out early. So I'm going to take Carlos Leal here. This absolute juice-head monster is a beast, and I'm fucking here for it. I don't understand this matchmaking here other than the fact that I think they're trying to give Carlos Leal a win. But on this side of the world, I don't know why they've done this. But yeah, we're going to go Carlos Leal here to win by knockout. I think he comes forward, gets in the clinch, and elbows Muslim Salikov to oblivion. Then we have Thug Nasty, Bryce Mitchell taking on Saeed Nurmagomedov. And this is a matchup that is quite interesting because Bryce Mitchell's coming down from featherweight, and he wasn't exactly a small featherweight, and now he really looks quite sucked out at this bantamweight division. He's one of the larger bantamweights, with a similar frame as a Damon Blackshere, with less muscle mass, but similar dimensions, if you will. Against Said Nurmagomedov here, it's going to be interesting because if Bryce Mitchell can rehydrate and, look like his 145-pound self, I think he can smoke here. I really do. I think that he can get on top of Said Nurmagomedov and really, control him there with his strength and his grappling dominance on top. In the striking, you got to give the edge to Said Nurmagomedov. He's creative. He's got dangerous attacks. He's got dangerous spinning attacks. But I think Bryce Mitchell, man, if he comes in here not compromised from the weight cut, I think this is his fight for the taking here, and I understand him being a slight favorite. The fog hanging over this pick is that this is a new weight class. He is quite big for the division. I don't know how he's going to look rehydrating here. I don't know how his chin's going to look as well. We have seen him absolutely slumped in the past by Josh Emmett. You can see that if you want to go see somebody look like they're a dead body, go watch this knockout. It's one of the nastiest KOs of the sport, not only that division. Bryce Mitchell was out having seizures and all sorts. So despite the fact that, we haven't seen Bryce Mitchell knocked out since, that chin concern is still there for me, especially when you're sucking a lot of that water weight out of your brain. I'm going to go Bryce Mitchell here, though. Low confidence, but I'm excited for it, and it's a matchup that I think really jumps off the page for me as one of the more intriguing on this fight card. Then we have Nikita Krylov taking on Bogdan Guskov, and this is the official underdog opportunity. I am taking Bogdan Guskov here, alter ego, evil Anthony Smith to defeat Nikita Krylov. And to make matters more confusing, in this picture, Nikita Krylov does have hair. But I'll tell you right now, he shaved his hair. So it's two bald guys going to war here over in Abu Dhabi. It's going to be mayhem. The number one factor for this is that I think Bogdan Guskov does have quite creative striking. He's shown to have knockout power, and Nikita Krylov got slumped 3 months ago. If you look here on Tapology, you can see Dominic Reyes slept him 3 months and 1 week ago. That is not enough time when you've been put out cold, especially in the light heavyweight division where, you can get chinned by anyone because they all are large individuals that have power, So you're talking about a guy who has almost all of his wins by finish in Bogdan Guskov coming up against somebody whose chin is under question. And the last win as well, coming from Nikita Krylov was Ryan Spann 2 years and 4 months ago. It's not like this guy's been in here, been active. The last time he was getting active, he was getting put out in Miami by my boy Dominic Reyes. So I'm going to go Bogdan Guskov here. I think Nikita Krylov absolutely has the skills to upset here, and I do understand the favorite line here, but I'm taking the underdog, and I'm quite happy with my pick here. Then we have AlMabayv, taking on Jose Achoa, the Peruvian. And listen, man, I'm going to tell you right now, AlMabayv is too small. He's only 5'4", but he fights like he knows that he's small, and he doesn't give a fuck anyway, and I love that. This guy comes in here, he's all action, no breaks. He literally will just shoot takedowns, and then throw multiple spinning attacks. I like his footwork. I think he's an underrated striker. He utilizes his striking very well to get respect, to make those takedowns work for him. And I think that Jose Achoa is getting a lot of respect over a loss here. I don't think he's coming in here holding his odds because of the win over Cody Durden. I think it's actually in this lost performance here against Lonnie Kavanagh. That's, I think, what is holding the line up here and keeping the betting respect here. A win over Cody Durden doesn't faze me. I think that what AlMabayv has been able to do inside of the UFC has been more impressive than the Cody Durden victory. So I'm going to take AlMabayv here. I'm surprised that the line has stayed where it is. I was even hoping that he would push to an underdog, and I might have been able to snag him as the underdog opportunity, but I never was able to place a bet on him while he was at underdog money. So if anyone was able to, W to them. So AlMabayv's the pick here, pretty confident in it, and I think he's one of the more affordable favorites on this card. Speaking of affordable favorites, that's out the fucking window here, because we got Sharapov, fucking Bullet, whatever the hell you want to call him, the one-eyed bandit, looks like a Mortal Kombat character here, taking on Marc-Andre Barrieux, the power bar. This matchmaking is designed so that Nurmagomedov can come in here and knock out Marc-Andre Barrieux. That is, honestly, this is UFC's best case scenario. Nurmagomedov gets a highlight reel walk-off knockout over Marc-Andre Barrieux. And that's all very well and good. Minus 600 favorite. makes sense, right? All the rest of it. Except I don't think Marc-Andre Barriault is coming here to lose, and I think he's a tenacious son of a bitch. And if his chin holds up, which is a big if, then this could get ugly. If he can get a hold of Nurmagomedov, get in that clinch, use knees and elbows, and just get nasty with him. Shara can, be known to stand and trade with people and not necessarily follow a good game plan. So I could see Barriault having success here, but I can also see him getting absolutely knocked out. As far as betting goes, I'm not really on this one on either side. There might be a long shot prop that I throw out there for Marc-Andre Barriault, but other than that, I'm just going to sit back, have some popcorn, cheer for Marc-Andre Barriault. I don't know what it is, guys. I'm a bit of a Shara hater. I genuinely don't know what it is, but I'm not a Shara enjoyer. Maybe it's the Petrosian KO. I thought that was a premature stoppage, and the way he celebrated there, the way he conducts himself, just not a big fan. But, this isn't a popularity contest here. It's a fight prediction business, and I do think Nurmagomedov by knockout is probably the most likely outcome for this bout, so that's what I'm going to have to roll with. Moving into the co-main event, a matchup that I'm quite excited to see. We have Pyan, No Mercy, taking on Marcus McGee, the Maniac. Pyan is always a delight to watch, just from his pure skill set alone. The way that he is able to unleash combinations to the body, he has those little trips that he's able to work in against almost every single opponent. He's defensively responsible everywhere. I really do love watching Pyan work. I do think in this matchup here, people are really throwing Marcus McGee out as if he doesn't stand a chance, and the betting line kind of reflects that. 4-1 underdog here, plus 300 dog, Marcus McGee. I think, people are saying, oh, he's old, he's not going to be able to cut it, all the rest of it. I know he's 35 years old, but he's coming in here in, probably the best shape of his life, looking to make a wave here. This is his big step up in competition. If you get a win over Pyan, you're right up there in the mix. And so for Marcus McGee here, I think he's looking to capitalize on this. And I think people are assuming that, Pyan's just going to come in here and just be better everywhere. And just because he's better on paper, it doesn't mean he's going to be able to go out there and utilize all of his techniques for 15 minutes. And we've even seen Pyan, start slow before. So let's see if Marcus McGee can capitalize on that. I do think Pyan has to be the pick here, but I do have a bet on Marcus McGee plus 3.5. And what that means, if you guys don't know, is that he only has to win one round on all three judges' scorecards. Obviously, if he wins outright, that's a win. If he wins, if it goes to split decision as well, you also get that. And if Marcus McGee wins by finish, obviously that wins as well. The only way you lose is if Pyan gets 30-27s or if he wins by finish as well. So the pick is Pyan, but the bet is actually leaning towards Marcus McGee, as I think there's more value on the McGee side there. Then for the main event, we have Robert Whittaker, the Reaper, taking on Renier, the Ritter, RDR. And this is a fight here where, some people are going to accuse me of hometown bias, assuming that Robert Whittaker, is New Zealand. Even though he's born here, he's an Australian fighter, and I don't feel this hometown attraction to just go bet on Robert Whittaker. In fact, I've bet against Robert Whittaker in the past and not regretted it. So I think, I'm picking Robert here, and a lot of people are considering Renier the Ritter as one of the most live dogs on this card, and I could absolutely understand that. He ruined my Slam of the Week streak by defeating Bo Nickel. Fucking Bo Nickel. But, I don't hold that against Renier the Ritter. I look at this fight objectively. I think that his grappling and his size are a concern here. Despite the fact that he's 6'4", though, I think his footwork is terrible. And I think that his striking is mid. And, coming up here against Robert Whittaker, I think he's going to have trouble with the hand speed of Robert Whittaker. I think he's going to have troubles with the footwork. If he's able to dictate his game early and get some takedowns, we're going to be in trouble because, if he gets on top here, he's a big fella. He's got excellent grappling. His submission game's good. His knees in the clinch, as we saw against Bo Nickel, very damaging for a man of his size here. Robert Whittaker, though, I just think he's that next tier of fighter. And so I'm going to be taking Robert Whittaker to win this fight by knockout. If you just want to go pure violence, throw it to the wind, this fight not to go the distance is actually priced very well. And I see value in that as well. So the pick is going to be Robert Whittaker. But if you're just looking for a value bet, I would say a fight not to go the distance is the juicer here. Guys, that is going to be the breakdown. Thank you all for watching. And if you want to unlock my bets and, my top picks and unlock everything that We Want Picks has to offer, Angelo Safety Parlay, Jacob's Bets, Adam's Articles, all of the AI tools and more. Sign up to wewantpicks.com/betsam for all my bets and many other tools. Code BetSam for 10% off. Sign up today or regret it tomorrow. Thank you for watching, guys. Let's make some money. And as always, I'll see you at the cash counter.